Well, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Some of you some of you's come to some of y'all's attention maybe that I've changed the name of the channel. It just seems to be more catchy. If you were, on there looking for guns and ammunition and stuff, you know what arsenal means. So that's the reason for that. Okay. Just a quick explanation. So, excuse me. We have a new hunting rifle. Okay. I just got in from work, and it's raining outside, and I really hadn't done a lot of detailed research on this gun since I bought it. I mean, I did before I bought it, of course. And if first impressions are lasting ones, this is going to be a good rifle. Pardon me for a minute. No, it's a budget rifle. I've got some higher dollar rifles than this one, of course. Well, that coffee's good. But over the last couple of years, I've been seeing this. I don't know if it's a fad or a craze, but everybody I know, old hunters and new hunters and young hunters and women and children alike, they've all been just raving over the 6.5 Creedmoor. Okay, without going too in depth and boring you to death about that cartridge, the cartridge was invented by Hornady. I believe, I want to say in 07. I could be wrong. Now, don't come on here screaming, oh, it was in 1926. Look, I'm just off the top of my head. I'm not reading a cue card here. I think it was in 07. But anyway, it immediately became a hit. And so the hunters took note and said, well, that's a fairly accurate cartridge. And it shoots pretty heavy projectile. It can shoot heavier projectiles. So they picked it up, and from what I can understand, I'm no expert. I'm a 270 nut. That's my gun, 270 30-30, 30-06. But personally, I've shot a 270 for years. And let me go on record right now as saying this gun, this cartridge, 6.5 Creedmoor, does not compare extremely well to a 270 Winchester. 270 Winchester shoots flatter, it shoots faster, it has more kinetic energy at all ranges, even out to 1,000 yards, and you can get lighter or heavier projectiles. So with that being said, I'm not going to say that a 6.5 Creedmoor is equal to or surpasses a 270 Winchester. That seems to be a big debate. Not even a 308 Winchester. Okay, but now it is what it's got its niche, and it's got it feels a good one. Older guys like me and gals, the older you get, or the wiser you get, hopefully, you see all this. Well, I like less recoil for follow-up shots. Being honest with you, since they've knocked it down to one deer a day, there ain't many follow-up shots in deer woods. You shoot, they either are hit and run and die, or they fall dead, or either you see white flags just going all through the woods and there is no follow-up shot. Any ethical hunter wouldn't shoot an animal, not a white-tailed deer in the butt. That being said, if I stepped on any toes, so be it. I call it like I said. That's not why I'm experimenting with this caliber. I'm experimenting with this caliber because I've read over and over and over about it having a natural accuracy edge over, most set hunting rifle cartridges, ones that were developed just for whitetail hunting. 270 was developed as a whitetail cartridge. You know, it never was a matched target cartridge. Neither, you know, 308s, it had a little bit of history in the military, so did 30-06 and such, and other tactical situations and such. But I chose to experiment, and that's what this is. This rifle may be for sale if I don't like it, because it's going to be hard to get me off of 270, I promise you. But I'm going to give it a fair shake. So, without further ado, gun clear. This is the Mossberg Patriot 6.5 Creedmoor. No, it did not come with this scope. This is a Walmart Bushnell scope. It's a Banner 2, and for, you know, $80, this is an outstanding piece of glass. I love it. It's got the BDC reticle in it. You get the app. You get the, you know, you can get dope cards, whatever. I put it on this rifle just, you know, because I had it. It had a a lot cheaper, what do they call it, a dead ringer or something like that scope combo. This is a Walmart package gun. I got it in Milledgeville, Georgia. But now, like I said, features, I do not like the bolt. I do not like how that bolt comes up and slaps that almost, I mean, that's how they were back in the old days. They almost come up and hit your scope. You can't put your hand on it and cycle a bolt. You have to pretty much do it with your thumbs. Okay? Don't like that. My Ruger has a 70-degree bolt throw with a 3-lug. This is a standard 2-lug bolt with a rotating face. They've been working like that for years. I can live with this because, like I said, I don't really worry about follow-up shots. But you would think nowadays, though, that they would, even Thompson, the Encore, it's a budget rifle. It has a 60-degree bolt throw. You get nowhere close to that scope, and you can run that gun as fast as a lever action. You can't do that with this. I can. But anyway, I didn't buy it for that. It come with a floated barrel, what they consider fluted. So pretty much it doesn't do anything for the barrel, the heat dissipation or anything, because it's not deep enough fluting, but it's pretty. It has a fluted bolt, which I don't get it. I'd much rather have a jeweled bolt, which you can't buy off the shelf nowadays, but you can't even have this one jeweled, and that's fine. I mean, it's a, you know, it's a $400 hunting rifle. It's not much to be said about it. It's got a rotating bolt, rotating lug. It's a standard bolt. I mean, the safety on this rifle leaves a little bit to be desired. Again, it's a 2-position safety. Who does that anymore? It's either fire or safe. Fire or safe. And I understand, you know, for new hunters that may be fine. But on the safe mode on this rifle, you can still cycle the bolt. I mean, you know, and the gun won't fire. Now, on a quality rifle, it has 3 positions. It has fire, this position where you can open it on safe, and then it has a lock. One more up locks the bolt. You can't run it. That comes in handy when you know, you're like me and you throw your gun around your neck and you get on your 4-wheeler and it's just hanging across your chest or whatever, and you're going through the woods and you're hitting limbs and bushes and something grabs that bolt and does that. You know, you just throw your round out. You've unloaded your gun half time, you don't even know it. So that locking bolt selection on the trigger, I mean on the safety, should be it should be across the board with all, even cheap hunting rifles. It can't be that much more to put that into these rifles. But I'm not knocking this rifle, don't get me wrong. I don't know, maybe I'm sure some of y'all know more about this than I do. I don't know if this rifle come with pillar bedding or anything from the factory. I don't care, because if I like it, I'll bed it myself completely. I know it's that supposedly floated. But I can tell you this, the barrel's not centered with the stock. And that is going to be because it's a cheap stock, you know, but it's probably touching on the right side right there. I fired about 10 rounds through it, and immediately I wanted to get mad because they guaranteed 1 MOA. Okay. This rifle's not close to 1 MOA. I'm not going to lie to you. With a better scope, this scope, I got 2.5 MOA. That's unacceptable. I'm not going to tolerate that. I'll sell it. I'll give it whatever. 2.5 MOA is perfectly fine for deer. Out to a couple of 100 yards. That's not why I bought this rifle. I bought this rifle to be extraordinarily accurate. And I may have to wind up changing the stock. I knew that when I bought it, so I really don't have any gripes there. But in the meantime, I think I'm gonna work this valley out more on this stock and open up the top to where it is truly floated. With that being said, while I've got it off, I may go ahead and bed the recoil lug. Anything to help right now. I'm not going to bed the whole cheap stock, but I may bed the recoil lug when I do that. That should help. Call me picky, but I want my one MOA. That's why I bought the rifle. The rifle looks good. It feels good. How you like that cheek well? I mean, it's plastic, polycarbonate, whatever you want to call it. It's plastic. It's got the lightning bolt trigger. It is adjustable from 2 to 7 pounds, supposedly. I've not put a trigger gauge on it. Right now, the trigger feels fine. It's probably at 2.5, 3 pounds. It's got the recessed crown, which is a good thing. That's supposed to aid in accuracy. We'll see. So this is by no means going to be a sum it up video. We're going to take it to the range, and we're going to fire it and zero it after. We're going to do that prior to doing any bedding, anything. We'll see what it does. I think I was just in a rush the other day to get this scope on. It was so hot I couldn't concentrate through the scope. I could see the heat rising off the barrel through the scope, the Mirage. So I knew, and I hadn't fired the gun at that point, so I knew it was hot out. So I just, got it on paper basically and give it up. Recoil pad, it has a nice actual recoil pad instead of just a hard piece of rubber. I like the swivel nuts, the sling studs, the studs here. They're actually the screw-in acorn type instead of the molded type into the stock. I do not like them in any rifle or shotgun that I own. I may not want this style, The trigger guard, this is cheap on a cheap stock, and I get it. It's molded into the stock. But what happens if you break it? You're going to buy a stock. And here's the tip, guys. I bought this rifle, and back in my mind, I thought, well, I'd already saw the Mossberg Patriots with the wood stock, the nice walnut stocks. And they're beautiful. And that's, if you want that, and you know that subconsciously you want that wood stock, don't do like me. I thought, well, I'll get the gun cheap, and then I'll just get online and buy the stock. That stock alone is $240+. Buy the combo that's already got the wood stock, because it was like $140 more than this one, and it come with a Vortex scope. This one did not. So, my $416 rifle, if you'll take into account of chunking the scope, which I may put it on 22 or something, but it ain't going on here. And then if I wind up bedding and floating or changing the stock completely, on this scope, you add another, so 80 and then 240, another $320. So you wound up with almost $800 Mossberg Patriot. Go ahead and buy the wooden one with the Vortex scope for $549. They're hard to come by in the stores right now, but you can order them and have them sent to you at Academy. They're wonderful guns. I mean, they're beautiful. I've never shot one, but if you want a nice rifle, don't buy this thinking you're going to make it that for little or nothing, because you wind up with twice the price. Buy what you want to start with. Okay, well, that being said, you know, that's water under the bridge. That's what happens when you try to be cheap. But then again, I don't have to make this rifle a custom long-range tack driver. This is going to be a deer hunting rifle, but I do want my 1 MOA. Thompson compass, I mentioned it a while ago. It comes with a 1 MOA guarantee, and it delivers. I had a Thompson compass in 243, and I never shot it at 100 yards to see if it was 1 MOA. But I did zero it on the size of a quarter at 150 yards, because I took a Copenhagen can and put it on the sight, you know, pushed it up on the target, where you put your targets at the range, at our private range, and I could drill the center of that Copenhagen can every time at 150 yards, and it was less than 1 MOA. So surely it was still less than 1 MOA at 100. That rifle, you ain't doing it. Not as it is right now. But I still like it. I still like the rifle. I ain't crazy about the camo. Be honest with you, I'd have just seen it had black. And it may wind up being black with a stainless Cerakote barrel and scope. That may be what I wind up doing, because I just like that. And I can. Mossberg's even got their name in that little recoil pad. But anyway, they also make this rifle in a Bantam youth version. And the only difference is this is a 22-inch barrel, which is common. You know, 22-inch barrels where you can just about get all your velocity out of a round with 22-inch barrel. But they make a youth model that's called the Bantam with a 20-inch barrel. And they cut out about 2.5 inches of the stock here, and they make it to where it's a spacer. You can remove it and put your butt pad on up to here, or either you can put it back in and have the full length pull. Almost, it comes out, this is like 13 1/4, it comes out to like 12.5. So it's the Bantam version. It's a nice little rifle. It's identical, it's just with those two differences. But there it is. If you guys and gals that's got more experience with the 6.5 Creedmoor cartridge, with that round, I did a little research, 2,650, 2,690 feet per second. I'm not impressed with the velocity, okay? But I knew that going in that it was slower, okay? Now, shooting heavy for caliber rounds in it, you ain't gonna get that. But at 140 grains, that puts me 10 grains heavier than my 30-30. I like the 130s in it. I mean, they go up to 150s and maybe even higher with custom loads, but 130, 150 being the most popular, with some 140s thrown in the middle. This rifle you can get right now. 6.5 Creedmoor ain't been out long enough to get. You would think you'd have more choices right now, but you still can get up to 140 grain. I just bought 2 boxes of 140 grain hollow points the other day, and I'm gonna try to zero it for this hunting season with that, and see. But I will tell you this: after owning the 243, the Thompson compass, and this is a whole different video, but I'll just say this now: we're gonna change the way we shoot animals with that smaller caliber. That smaller, slower, less energy caliber. Just because it's got a better bullet coefficient, see, it don't mean squat out to 200-300 yards. It only really matters about that out past 5. Okay, I'm not going to shoot animals 500 yards away. I can't see them 500 yards away. So All this about bullet coefficient and cross-sectional density and all that means squat when it comes to practical deer hunting ranges. To me, anyway. There's been more deer killed with a 30-30 than there ever will be with a 6.5 or 270. Alt 6 may come close, but you know, and then the bullet coefficient of that big old round thumb size, round nose bullet can't be much. They dropped some right there. And speaking of 30-30, I've got a better, I can get 1.5 inch MOA at 125 to 150 yards with my lever action. So this rifle's got to step it up. But anyway, there it is. I still think it's a good buy. I wish I had went ahead and got the wood and the Vortex, but you know, I ain't looking for pretty. I'm looking for utility, you know, usable. The good thing I say about these cheap stocks is, on a day like today, it's raining. I like to sit in the woods all day. I don't usually sit in the shooting house. I'm up a tree. And this gun gets completely saturated. I'm not sitting there wiping it the whole time, trying to keep the wood from swelling out, from getting wet. I just let it go, and when I leave, I take an oil rag and wipe over it, run it down the barrel, open the action, wipe it around, and I'm good to go. No harm, no foul. That's the good thing about this plastic stuff. So, tell me what you think. Tell me if you think I'm going to be happy with it. You know, for what I've got in it, if I ain't happy with it, I'll find somebody that wants it and give it to them. Or, you know, whatever. Trade it for, you know, hell, who knows. Trade it for a 22 rifle or something. Anyway, you know what I mean. Leave comments. Let me know your experience with the 6.5 Creedmoor. Specifically, if you have experience with this rifle, the Patriot. You know, when I was coming up, Mossberg was the maker of shotguns. And now, if I understand the making rifles and pistols and everything else, which, if this rifle follows in the footsteps of the Mossberg 500, it'll be a success. But as of right now, after shooting, you know, like I said, about 10 rounds through it, to me, it's still just a budget rifle. Leave your comments below, like and subscribe, thumbs up. Tell me what you think. Tell me your experiences with it. Please don't come on saying that the rifle's comparable to a 270 or a 308 or alt 6, because ballistically it's not. I ain't saying it's too far behind, but that argument, that's like 9mm 40 and 45. Who gives a damn? You know, I killed deer with a recurve at 150 feet a second with a sharp stick with a point on it. So, you know, it beats that, so I'm good for deer hunting. But anyway, God bless you. Thank you.